Lads, welcome back to Fusion YGO. It is your boy Christian, the Haver Card Man again, coming at you with yet another Scrap Orcus profile. I believe that this version of the deck is going to be a lot more playable in this current metagame. We've cut down a lot of things to be able to actually make things work and also fit in more stuff. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the profile today, not waste any of your time. Alright, so starting things off with the Scrap Engine today, we are going to be playing Triple Recycler. This is your main combo enabler. You want to get him on field as fast as quickly as possible and be able to just loop him. Also play a triple Scrap Raptor, basically just extra copies of your Recycler, be able to destroy itself, get an extra normal summon, and then in Graveyard be able to search for the Recycler. Also play in one Scrap Golem, because this is how you loop your Recycler. One Crystron Rosenix, this is one of your garnets for the deck. Basically you send this off of your Scrap Recycler to get things started. I want to play a Jet Synchron with it, but I just need to find my copy. So one Machina Fortress and one Machina Ruin Force to round off the monsters for the Scrap Engine. These guys are just extenders for you that work with the Orcus Engine as well. For more searchability, we have double Scrapyard, two more copies of Scrap Raptor, as well as one Fossil Dig, another copy of Scrap Raptor. Don't ask me why I'm playing 2-in-1, I just like it, it feels correct, so it's what I'm doing. So that's it for the Scrap Engine. Now for the Orcust Engine, we have triple Gearsu the Orcust Mech Knight. This is another 3 1-card starters here, putting us at a total of 12. He just dumps an Orcust or a World Legacy monster from your deck to your grave, and then if you control no other monsters, you get to put a token on both sides of the field. So pretty much does everything for the deck, but you can also just use him as an extender if you open up the scrap part of the combo. 2 World Legacy World Wand. We're playing 2 of these because if we open one in hand, then we can send the other one from the deck with either Gearsu or Recycler, and then we get a special summon the other one out from the hand. We already have 2 set up, and this is just the one that you kind of want the more copies of, like, to be able to put in the graveyard so you can keep putting back your banished Orcus stuff onto the field. Overall, I just feel it's the best one to have it too. For the rest of the Orcust, we have one Orcust Nightmare and one Orcust Symbol Skeleton. Orcust Nightmare being a graveyard effect to banish itself, send another Orcust or World Legacy monster from deck to grave, and then Orcust Symbol Skeleton to revive an Orcust monster from the graveyard by banishing. For the rest of the Orcust Engine, we have one Babel, one Orchestrated Return, one World Legacy Succession. Babel makes all of your Orcust effects quick effects. Orchestrated Return sends an Orcust or World Legacy monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to draw 2. And then World Legacy Succession is a free monster reborn to a Link Arrow. Finally, for the Orcust Engine is one Orcust Crescendo. It's an Omni-Negate, which on the follow-up can search you Dark Machine monster. It just locks you into Dark Machines for the turn, which we don't care about in this build. Now for all the non-engine, we are running triple Ash Blossom, just a very good generic hand trap that hits just about anything. Also 3 Droll and Lockbird. It might see a little less play, but for now I'm going to keep maining the Drolls. Also 2 Ghost Ogres. There's just quite a few matchups where this ends up being a good card. And 2 Ghost Warders, a surprisingly good tech against a number of decks. So just something to keep in mind for you guys. I like this card, but you can swap this out for Veilers, Imperms, whatever you feel like. I just personally like the Ghost Warders. And then we also have 2 copies of Kashtira Fenrir. This is a free extender for you. If your board's clear, you just summon him out. So you get an extra body on board, and then you're able to search for the other copy of him to refill your hand for discard fodder, which is just nice. Lastly here, we have 3 Crossout Designator to go with all of our hand traps to make sure that we don't die to any of them. This deck plays around Droll pretty effectively, but there are times where like a well-timed Ash or even a well-timed Droll with like Scrapyard being our early starter, there are times where that kind of stuff can kill us a little bit, so we play these plus the one Called by the Grave as just extra hand trapped hate to make sure that we can play through stuff. Let's go ahead and get into the extra deck real quick. Alright, so starting off with the extra deck here, we are playing 2 copies of Gearsu, the Orcust of the Evening Star, just like the star of the show. 2 copies really comes up in the grind game. I was trying one for a little bit, and Patrick was right, it's just not quite enough. For the Link monsters here, we do have 1 Link Karibo, basically just for that World Legacy token that Gearsu summons. So this way it gives you a dark effect monster that you can use to make Galatea. Next up here with 2 Scrap Wyvern, also once again really helps in the grind game. Scrap Wyvern is ultimately best going second when you're able to pop one of your opponent's cards, but it's still just fine going first, being able to get that Golem from the deck and be able to get your Recycler loop going. Also to Galatea, the Orcus Automaton, shuffles a banished Orcust or World Legacy monster into your deck to be able to set an Orcus spell or trap directly from your deck. Most typically with this build, we're actually setting Crescendo first, but if we already get access to it or we have different kinds of plays in our hands, we can go for the Babel to make all of our Orcus monsters quick effects. So Galatea really just kind of does everything for the deck. Also can't be destroyed by battle while it's linked. Something to keep in mind because it's hilarious. One Lib, the World Key Blademaster. This is our way to get into the World Legacy Succession. I'll do a combo tutorial later so you guys can like kind of fully understand how the deck works. But yeah, this gets you your World Legacy Succession from deck, which allows you to keep your Recycler loop going. One IP Masquerena, just to be able to do stuff on your opponent's turn, always a good time. One Long Gearsu, by shuffling back 2 banished Orcust or World Legacy monsters, you're able to send a monster that's linked to it to the graveyard, and then also it cannot be destroyed by card effects while it is linked. So pretty good card. One Nightmare Unicorn, just easy removal, goes great with the IP Masquerade on your opponent's turn. Be able to just go into a Unicorn, shuffle something away. Usually you can get other effects off at the same time, but Unicorn's just good removal, and it helps us climb into the next guy, which is an access code talker. Most of these are all dark, so there's still plenty playable under the Orcus lock, which is really nice. Except for this next one, we do have one Apollosa Bow with a Goddess. This is good with our scrap combo because there are quite a few boards where we can set up Apollosa before we even go into our Orcus plays to just help insulate us and then give us more stuff to disrupt our opponent. One Orcustrian, it's just a really strong linked monster. When it's linked, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. And then you can target 3 of your banished Orcus. Like, mostly this is just for the grind game. You can set up a really hard to deal with monster that's just continuously shuffling all your resources and putting cards that it points to 0 attack and defense, which is really nice. And then finally, one Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Basically, it's just a kaiju for the extra deck, helps us deal with unaffected monsters, which really helps out a ton. So that's it for the extra deck. We'll go ahead and get into the side now. So for the side deck, we are running one Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit and one Ghost Mortar to finish off our playsets. If we find that either of these cards goes better into a matchup than the other stuff we already have in the deck, we can swap these in to get more options to draw them. We're also playing one Machina Citadel and 2 Urgent Schedule. This goes really well with the scrap package if we know that we're going second. Urgent Schedule just allows us to basically summon out Recycler and Citadel from the deck. And then while we're using Scrap Wyvern to pop the Recycler, we get a chain block the Wyvern's second effect is summoned from deck with the Citadel, so we get an extra 3k body on board that can blow up the whole field, and then we get a way to chain block our Wyvern and help make sure our combo goes through. Or if that doesn't work, we can also just set Urgent Schedule to pop off of the Scrap Wyvern, which can then search us the Citadel, and we can use Fortress to fish him out of hand and summon the Fortress as an extender. There's so many things that this package can do that it's worth having on the side, but not really main deck worthy, if that makes sense. Next up, 2 Triple Tactics Talent. Way to help us deal with hand traps or at least play through them. Always nice. It's kind of rough against Droll because if you're going first you get drolled. The only thing you can do out of this is just be able to shuffle a card from your opponent's hand back to the deck, which, don't get me wrong, is good, but there's a lot of cases you'd rather have the draw too. Next up, 2 Lightning Storm, freshly hit on the ban list to 2 copies, so we're still playing them. There's plenty of back row decks in the format. There's plenty of decks that can just die to a Lightning Storm, so it's worth playing on the side, I think. Also, triple Dark Ruler, because you still have decks like Super Heavy Samurai, even Kashtira running around. Even if they're just ending on a Rise Heart pass, you still want to have a way to like be able to answer it. I just kind of tried to go for answers that were the most generic across the board because there's so many viable decks in the format right now that we're going to finish off this side deck with triple copies of Evenly Matched because just being able to equalize a board is insane. There's a few decks that can play through Evenly Matched no problem, or a few decks that just don't even care, but overall, like, Evenly Matched is just an insane card. Basically, if you're going against a monster combo deck and you open Dark Ruler evenly, it's just GG's. Like, they can't really do anything, so that's all I got for you guys for this deck profile today. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Like I said, combo tutorial coming soon. Let's get this video to 10 likes and we'll slap that out for you. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today for this Scrap Orcus deck profile. Once again, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below in the comment section. I always love your guys' feedback, and I respond to as many of you as I can. So I'll see you guys down there, and as always, good fun. Have luck.